He said, what you see in the light is exactly what who people are in the dark.
There's two sides of pain that I don't think a lot of people really understand, right? There's one side of pain that's the suffering and the discomfort side of pain. Because that hurts. You remember what that felt like. But then there's another side of pain that's called effort. It's called glory.
Yo, it's Life here, bringing you another build guide. I did talk about it on my previous stream, but honestly, who wants to sit and watch a 2-hour long video? So this is pretty much a recap of the stream, and we'll go further into details about the Titan script build. Alright, so this is the Titan script spreadsheet build. Pretty much, after listing down all the abilities and talents, I decided to clean it up, make it look pretty. So it's easier on the eyes. I also want to note that the TG builds are gear dependent, so without having the proper gear, without having the proper good two-handed weapons, you won't be doing as much damage. At the same time, it's recommended to have over 2300 attack power and plus 15% damage increase to balance the penalty of Titan's Grip. As for your talents, they're pretty much there to kind of counteract these penalties or to achieve what you need to get, which is the 2300 and plus 15 damage. So let's look at the talents here. Strength increase, it's like 30%. It's pretty good pickup. I highly recommend increasing strength as high as possible. As you can see on this picture here, just over 1k attack, 1k strength, with 3500 attack power. At the same time, I believe this was when I was buffed, but yeah, when you're buffed, you know, you can see some pretty good results. Armor to the teeth, it's pretty simple pickup. You're wearing plate, you're kind of mixing plate with mail. It really depends on your stats, but an easy AP increase with armor to the teeth. True shot aura, deadliness, and savage combat, these things can get replaced if you do decide to like either like raid, or you need to free up some talents for additional pickups, like down here. Like if you need to pick up blade, flurry, killing spree, etc, etc, you can choose to remove deadliness and savage combat. Start off with deadliness first, because savage combat is a lot better than deadliness in terms of how it scales. Even though they're both you know, equally 2% AP increase per talent, they work slightly different. So yeah, you can remove True Shot Aura if you decide to like raid, or if you party a lot with people that do have True Shot Aura. So that's going to free up some ability essence and talent essence. And then for the damage increase, once again, you need 15%. And this is what I'm doing here, picking up the two-hander specs on ret and arms. So I get 3% plus 3% crit, and then 3% damage with 6% or 6 expertise or expertise. So these are generally better pickups than just a flat 1%. You know, I'm getting additional bonuses here with the crit and expertise, so good pickups. Sanctified ret is a 3% increase for 1. Actually, that's going to be 1 ability essence as well, so 1 and 1 for 3%. It's a good pickup. Crusader, it's 1 talent, or yeah, 1 talent essence for 1% damage increase, but it also, I believe if it's like humanoids, if you're fighting humanoids, it's a 2%. So you could say it's like a 1 talent essence for 2% increase, which is good. And then lastly would be the Slaughter from the Shadows, 1% and 1% per talent essence, plus it also reduces the energy cost of your hemo, which you generally spam. And then looking down here, I also picked up the 50% increase on your offhand. You know, if you're using Titan's Grip, your offhand's gonna hit slightly like noodle, like it's not as hard as you want. So you know, having 5 points for a 50% increase is huge. I believe like it's like 50% reduction as like a base when you're dual wielding, like on your offhand. So this kind of balances it out. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But it is a noticeable increase in DPS for both, like, you know, PvE, PvP, and not to mention that you're using like Whirlwind, so you're hitting a lot with your offhand anyways with Whirlwind, or what's the other one, Storm Strike. And then you've got improved Whirlwind, 20% increase on Whirlwind damage, and then Death Wish, which is 20% increased damage. Death Wish being your cooldown to just pop if you want to do mad DPS. Titan's Grip, of course, you need Titan's Grip. Hemo is your instant attack spam. You're just gonna spam that. Rampage, it's highlighted, meaning you can pretty much remove it as well if you decide to raid or group up and there's either someone that has Rampage or Leader of the Pack, since they don't stack, so you don't need that. You can just leech off of them, freeing up, you know, abilities or talents just so you can pick up more stuff. Blade Storm, of course, is a good pickup. You should pick that up. Good for AoE clears. Then Warbringer, charge, intercept, usable in any stance and in combat. That's pretty huge. If you saw in the very close to the beginning with all the PvP, you'll see that, you know, I'm charging, I'm intercepting. You know, you do need some like gap close if you do decide to PvP. I'd say this is definitely a PvP thing with everybody like escaping and blinking. You want a way to catch up to them. Storm Strike, you know, you hit with both your weapons. It's pretty good since you're using two-hander weapons. Hits pretty hard. And then down here, so pretty much you can customize the build after picking up these. I believe you have 4 talent essence free, so you can pick up like 4 of these abilities or talents. You can also remove these things that are highlighted, so you can pick up more of this if you want. Keep in mind that 2300 attack power is minimum, so if you have well over, you can technically decide to remove deadliness in savage combat if you reach the 2300 minimum requirement. And then pick up stuff like killing spree for PvP, or Blade Flurry for PvE or solo. Just big AoE grind abilities. At the side here, it pretty much tells you what's it generally for. If it's for solo, PvP, PvE content, you can decide on that. It's really hard to decide on what's like something that's for everything, so you can't really focus on, like, you know, PvE and then hope that you'll do good in PvP, or vice versa, being good in PvP but, you know, good in PvE as well. It's very hard to make a build like that because you know, most builds are generally specialized for certain things. So that's why I have it listed here. You know, if you want to go solo, you know, pick up improved Storm Strike, you know, which is like mana return on your Storm Strike. Maelstrom weapons, great for solo and PvP. Not so much for like if you're doing raids. You got a healer to heal you, so you don't really need to heal yourself. That's why it's good for solo or PvP. Pretty much your attacks will stack up Maelstrom weapons, and then at 5 you can have an instant heal. At the same time, you can get like multiple procs with your Blade Storm and your Whirlwind. Killing sprees, great for like PvP. Not so much if you decide to use it for like, you know, PvE, like especially like for AoE. It sucks for AoE. If you want AoE, go for Blade Flurry. Great for PvE and solo. Pretty much makes your attacks hit 2 additional targets. And then Seal of Command, great for PvE, great for raids. Feral Spirit, great for solo, great for PvP. Shadow Steps, great for PvP. I only have it for PvP, just because you need like that gap close. With PvE content, you can pretty much rely on Warbringer with the 2 intercepts, or charge and intercept. Dispersion, it's great for PvP, great for PvE as well. It's just your defensive cooldown. Shadow Form, if you do decide to pick up Shadow Form, you're gonna have to remove Berserker Stance and improve Berserker Stance. Shadow Form's great for the 30% threat reduction, and it's mainly for the PvE, mainly for like dungeons and raids or something. If you're doing too much threat, just pick up a Shadow Form or something. If you don't want Shadow Form, like let's say if you pick up Shadow Form and now your minimum requirement for TG is below 2300 attack power, then maybe you shouldn't pick up Shadow Form, but pick up Fanaticism, which is 30% reduction on threat, but it does cost 3 talent points. So it really depends on what your stats are. Once again, this is for fanaticisms for PvE stuff, dungeons and raids. Bloodthirst is a good pickup. I have it listed here. A lot of TG users will use Bloodthirst. The good thing about Bloodthirst is that it scales with AP, and on my final buff stats, I'm at 3500 AP. So this is gonna hit like a truck. It's great for solo content because it heals you. Great for PvE. Some people do use it for PvP as well. You could pick up for PvP surprise attack. Personally, I think surprise attack should be on my recommended list to pick up at the top here, just because it's 10% hemo damage for 1 talent point. So that's a big increase for 1 for 10%, and generally you're spamming hemo anyways. Enlightened Judgments is 4% hit chance. You're gonna need some hit chance for raids, so I have that listed down as well if you decide to raid. As for your abilities, pretty much anything to do with increasing your attack power, I have it listed. So Mark of the Wild, Aspect of the Beast, Frost Armor, Devotion Aura, and Demon Skin, they all give like AP increase or armor increase, but because I convert armor to AP, I have it listed as an AP increase. Blessing of Kings, Strength of Earth Totem, those are good pickups, increasing your strength, but it's not needed for raids because someone else will have it. At the side here I have it listed as not needed for raids. Mark of the Wild, Blessing of Kings, Strength of Earth Totem, and Battle Shout. And then of course Berserker Stance for the crit and the strength increase. Some additional stuff here: Whirlwind for your damage. You're gonna be spamming that whenever you have rage, whenever it's off cooldown. Wind Fury weapon for the extra attacks. I think early on the video you get to see Wind Fury weapon critting twice or something. So it's like 1700 plus 1300. Pretty big damage when it does proc, when it does crit. You can replace this though for Frost brand if you do decide to do that. And then you have Charge. I don't think you know what, I'm missing Intercept here, am I? Yeah, I'm missing Intercept. So let me just add Intercept here. Oh shit. Okay, let me just Intercept, Fury, Gap Close. Okay, so I think I'm also missing. Okay, no, yeah, it's all good. So here, pretty much pick whichever abilities, depending on what your focus is. Like if you want to focus on PvP, PvE, or solo content. Innervate's pretty much great for many things. Like if you do decide to buff yourself with all this, you can just pop Innervate to get your mana back, or you can just rely on water or whatever. But like I don't generally like to use Innervate. It's just quick and simple. Blink, great for raids, great for PvP. There's a lot of like situations where you just get knocked up or get stunned and you can just blink out of it, which is also why it's great for PvP. If you do get stunned, you can just blink out of it. Divine Shield, great for raids and PvP. Same concept. Oops. Same concept. If you're like taking damage or you're getting CC'd or something, just break out of it. Feign Death, mainly for raids. You can also say it's like for all PvE content, like dungeons as well. If you know that the group is gonna die or you have too much threat, just Feign Death. Deterrence, great for PvP. Let's say if there's another Timescript user and he comes at you and blade storms, just Deterrence and you're pretty much safe. There's a lot of ways to counter Timescript blade storm. Deterrence is one of them. You can even say that Disengage is also another one, just to get out of that blade storm. Great for PvP. Heal wave is pretty much the heal that you're gonna use whenever you have Maelstrom procs. Instant heal, whenever your health is low, just heal up. And this actually saved me a lot of times in PvP. And if you saw that one long fight, like almost died with like maybe like 1% health, I just popped, you know, healing wave to kind of get back into the fight. Intercept. Oh, I see. Intercept's right here. So I guess I have it listed as for PvP. Let me think about that. Well, I guess nah, I think intercept's a really good pickup. I'm gonna remove that here. Definitely a good pickup. Because not to mention, like, let's say if you're AoE like farming or something, you can charge in and then intercept to the next group just so you can pull more. You know, it's open world, so if you do get like, you know, into a PvP situation, having another gap close is also good. Anyways, back down to here. Divine Storm, which is 110% of your weapon damage, so it's gonna hit hard. It also heals you, does some AoE damage, so it's good for either solo or PvE. Just an additional AoE damage, extra damage. Blood Rage is great for PvP. Let's say you're starting off the fight, you know, just pop Blood Rage, get that extra rage so you can start, you know, bursting the enemy down. Usually Blood Rage into Blade Storm or something to start off. It's a good combo, pretty simple to use. So at the bottom here, I listed as, you know, pick one. So, you know, Seal of Light if you decide to solo. Seal of Light will make your attacks heal. Seal of Justice will make your attacks stun, so it's great for PvP. And once again in the video, like I'll Blade Storm and then you'll see that guy just standing there. That's because he's stunned from Seal of Justice. So Blade Storm can proc Seal of Justice for the stun. And then Seal of Command, which will make your attacks hit a little extra holy damage. Do I have it up here? I don't. Okay. Yeah, so great for PvE stuff, great for raids, just for that little bit extra damage. And so that's pretty much the build.